Coming to you live from the basement of an abandoned training facility where we talk about fighting, training, and events. It's the Fight Mixer Show, where you can hear about all the local and world combat sports happenings. Get ready. It's time to gear up and square up because we're going live on the Fight Mixer Show.
What is fucking up? Happy Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Fight Mixer. To all of our bros and hosts with area codes, thank you for joining us. We are 2 weeks away from BKFC. Literally, we are on the cusp to this incredible event, Knucklemania, and live in person, in the flesh, Brandon Lambert, who'll be fighting on that card. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, my guys? I appreciate the time today.
Yeah, Brandon, I gotta ask right away, did you just drop a vape right off the bat? Was that like...
I drop a vape all the time. CBD.
Okay.
You got to recover.
Just curious what it was, man. Like immediately right off the bat, it's like pop, hit the vape. I'm like, okay, all right, I see what we're working on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't bring my fucking vape. Where did I put my vape?
Yeah. Shit. Come on, Dave. You're behind.
Join the club, dog.
Fuck me in the beard, man. I come unprepared. Shit. So we are literally 2 weeks away. Bro, how's training been going? What's been going on with you? You're going to be fighting a tough opponent who's 2-0. What's going on, man? How's training going?
Training's going great, man. Training with JC Santana at the Institute of Human Performance over in Boca Raton right now for my strength and conditioning. And then I'm working with the ATT striking coach, Coach Gabriel, for my boxing. And then I'm working with Coach Mo. He's my head coach. I've been working with him for about 1.5 years now.
Yeah, King Mo's a bad motherfucker, man. You definitely have the right support behind you. And this is going to be your first bout. Like, how'd you get involved with the sport? Like, you've only trained for 1 year. Your first debut fight is on a huge mega card. Like, what's your mind frame going into this? How's training, like you're going to be fighting a tough opponent. I mean, he's undefeated. This is your first fight. What's going through your mind, and what do you have to say to about your opponent?
Well, I mean, without being cocky and condescending, like, I'm just really not worried about this guy. He's a pure boxer. He gets freaked out when pressure's on him. He gets freaked out in the clinch. He gets freaked out when he gets hit. And I think he just needs to stay with the gloves on. He's not fought somebody that's brought pressure to him. I really don't have much thoughts on him, to be honest. Like, I'm just not worried about him. I'm already thinking about my next fight, to be honest.
Brandon, what is your background? He's a pure boxer, but like, what are you bringing to the table, which is different than being a pro boxer?
Well, so everybody knows that there's no documented fights with me. You can't find videos. You can't find this. You can't find that. When I fought, the internet wasn't a big thing. It wasn't like, oh, everybody's got to put this on YouTube or Instagram. I had some small VHSs. I had some pictures. My wife threw all that shit away in our divorce. So that's why I don't have any of those. But
how old are you?
I'm 37.
Okay.
Wow.
All right.
I have over 47 Muay Thai fights. So I'm not just coming off the couch telling people, hey, watch this. Like, I know what I'm doing. I've done it before. It's just been a while.
Right.
Okay. So, and you feel that I'm sorry, David. You feel like the Muay Thai background, you said 37 or 47 fights?
47.
47 fights, you feel like that? I mean, that's a good amount of fights.
Mm-hmm. About the same amount as Jared.
That's gonna be the deciding factor of the difference in the fight?
Nah, the deciding factor is just I'm just better than Jared all around. I want this more. Like, Jared's been here twice. He's had a chance to make statements twice, and he's failed to do so. this is probably my only opportunity to really make a statement. I can't go in there and pussyfoot around. So I'm going to go in there and make my statement. This is my fight to take, and I'm going to go in there and fucking take it.
Right. So with the Muay Thai fights, what gym did you train out of, and where did those fights take place? And I you know, it's you know, Muay Thai is a very difficult sport, especially getting involved with it. You know, I train up in Boston. Muay Thai is you know, when you first learn how to check a kick and you like, you know, you start training, it's a pain in the ass, man. It's a lot of technique involved, a lot of training, a lot of meticulous training that goes into Muay Thai. Like, how did you get started with Muay Thai, and where did you fight? Like, where did you travel to find these fights?
Okay, so I used to be a mouthy kid. Imagine that. I used to get in fights a lot, and I got the shit kicked out of me by this kid that was way littler than me, and he knew Muay Thai. After he beat me up, I asked him how he did it. He told me. So he showed me where he trained at. I went there and trained for like a month or two, and I really loved it. And there I was like, I really want to learn like real Muay Thai. Like, where do I learn real Muay Thai? And they're like, you have to go to Thailand. So I was already in and out with my parents anyway. I'd already moved out of my home when I was a kid anyway. So I ended up moving over to Thailand. And I went up to Chiang Mai, lived in a village out there just northern to Chiang Mai. And we trained in a village. It was a village camp. It wasn't like a gym. So I trained there for about a year and then started doing fights. And we would have fights, not in the rice fields, but, you have clearings and out of these rice fields, and they would have rings and shit where we would train. We would fight there. Sometimes we go up to, the southern provinces and fight there. I didn't fight in any kind of like sanctioned events, but there's record in those provinces. I just can't get them because I haven't been able to go to Thailand to pick them up. I had all my other stuff, all my records with me, but then my wife threw everything away. I don't have any more records of those, and I'm really not interested in trying to prove myself. I've got to where I need to be at right now, and I can prove myself on February 5th.
Awesome. So one more question, I'll pass it up to Ali or pass it down to Gabe. So you're going to bare knuckle fighting. How'd you get involved with bare knuckle fighting? Get in touch with David Feldman, get matched up with this opponent. And how do you feel with this Muay Thai background? Because again, with bare knuckle fighting, you're taking your bread and butter. Because 47-0, that's very impressive. And
no, what 47-0? I had 47 fights.
47 fights, right.
Yeah.
So you're gotcha. But you're also taking kicks out of the equation. Yeah. And you're taking kicks out of the equation. You're taking a lot of your arsenal out of the equation. It's going to be strictly stand up with your fists. How'd you get involved with bare knuckle fighting, and how was preparations been, to get involved and get this fight? Like how's everything been going, the transition process?
Well, so I got involved because of Vince Anderson. Vince actually reached out to me because I own a company, and he wanted me to sponsor the bare knuckle event, and I just wasn't in the position to do that at that moment. And instead of just writing me off and leaving me lay, he actually kept in contact with me. We formed a friendship. And I started going to a couple bare knuckle events. Actually, cornered Chris Sorrow at, I think it was BKFC 11. It was the one that was in Oxford, Mississippi. So I cornered Chris there, and that's when I talked to Nate. And Nate told me that he would get me a fight. And then the dates kept getting pushed back. And once I left, I was in Puerto Rico with Elvin Brito training, and because I was supposed to fight in December for Toe the Line. And then I came back here to get prepared for that. And that fight didn't happen, but I started trolling with Tyler Goodjohn. Me and Tyler Goodjohn had a little back and forth online, and he said he would fight me. So I just took a hold of that like a pit bull and never let go. And it got their attention, I guess.
Cool. So basically talking shit is what got you the fight.
100%.
All right. Fair enough.
Because I'm the first person that BKFC's ever signed that they've never seen throw a punch.
Yeah.
So they've never even seen you train. They've never even seen you hit a mitt. They've never nothing.
Nope.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, I've got a question I want to ask, but Ali, I'm gonna let you ask whatever you want to ask first, because I have a feeling that my question is gonna be one of those questions that we'll get into that. But go ahead, Ali. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I was just wondering, is this kind of a thing like you feel like you've kind of been waiting for this opportunity, like you've deserved it and just never got the chance to have it, or you just kind of feel like maybe you're in a little over your head, or?
Oh no, I'm not in over my head. I feel like I deserve it, but like it's I could have had this opportunity years and years and years ago, and I chose to run a business instead. And once this opportunity came up, I knew I had to seize it. I don't think I'm in over my head at all. A lot of people are coming in here. They're pure fucking boxers. This isn't bare knuckle boxing championships. This is bare knuckle fighting championships. I'm a born fighter. Johnny Bedford is a born fighter. Luis Palomino is a born fighter. Jim Ehlers, born fighter. Elvin Brito. List can go on and on. Those are the guys that you're going to see do well in this sport. And I believe that my name will be right up there on the top with them. Just because of my past experience, my drive, my will, and my heart.
And say, it sounds like you have a lot of heart, and I really admire your confidence. I know you already kind of imagined the end game on this. Have you thought about, if this doesn't work in your favor, are you going to still maintain this energy that you have now?
Oh yeah, I'm me 100%. I already said, if Jared knocks me out, when I wake up and go to the back and they interview me, I'm already going to have a name on my tongue to call out. Shit happens. You lose in this sport. You lose in all sports. But they're not going to kill me. Like, nothing can hurt worse than my wife taking my children away when I did nothing wrong. So Jared can't hurt me any more than that already did. So I'm really not worried about this at all.
Right. Did this matchup happen from, just a trash talking back and forth, or did the matchup just purely happen like Dave Feldman picked out Jared, put you guys together? Like, how exactly did this matchup happen? Was this born from shit talking, or how did it manifest to this on fight day?
I think it's fate. And the reason I think it's fate is I seen Jared fight in Miami, and I told my sister, I wasn't even signed to BKFC, obviously, but I told my sister, I was like, I want to fight that kid, but I don't think I'll go down to 35 just to fight him. And then, so that was a couple months ago, and I was still going on with Tyler. That's why I went. I wanted to mess with Tyler. And I actually ended up going to England for about a week and a half. I thought he was going back home for Christmas, so I was going to go there and troll him in person because that's how bad I wanted that fight. The day I got home, Nate Shook texted me and said, "Can you make 135 by February 5th?" And my exact reply was, "I'll make any weight that you want me to make." And then he offered me a few names, and I was like, "Okay, cool, let's get the contract done." And then the next thing I know, he was telling me that we were waiting on Jared to sign the contract. So how the beef started with me and Jared is I texted Jared and asked him if he was ready to get knocked out on February 5th, and if he was, to sign the contract. And I guess that offended him, and it offended his coach when I posted the video of him getting knocked down, saying when you lie on your or when you find out BKFC is not boxing. So they got really offended by that and started all their "we can take it to the streets" stuff and threatened me with gang violence and all this other stuff while claiming they're role models at the same time. So I just don't have any respect for him or his team at all. So that's how that started. It was just it was offered to me. I wanted to push the fight, so I asked him if he would sign the contract, and it pissed him off.
Right. And your story is inspirational. I mean, to come into BKFC to take this fight against a guy who's been in there, he's been in there twice, he's won twice, he's undefeated. And doing further research, one of the pieces that I got from your story was that you actually had a brain injury, a brain aneurysm. So how? I'm trying to phrase this the right way.
I'm not gonna talk about that. Not here.
Okay.
The reason I had a fucking bad time getting licensed, it's not something I want to go into right now. I'll talk about it after the fight, but I'm not going to speak on it right now.
I think that's that's actually what I wanted to bring up earlier, Brandon. Because I did research on you. I couldn't find fights for you, obviously, because you were fighting in the villages and the rice paddies in Thailand.
One second. Are you Gabe Rudiger?
I am.
Holy shit. Okay, awesome. Okay, it's a pleasure to meet you, sir. All right, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Okay.
Yeah, no problem. But one thing that came up was that you were talking about how you had 3 brain aneurysms, and 2 were taken care of medically, but 1 is still active. And I'm curious how you can still fight and feel okay fighting. Anything brain oriented.
Yeah, so like I said,
concerns me.
like what I'm going to say right now, what you're trying to do is to get me disqualified from this fight. So if you bring up my aneurysm again, this fucking interview's done. You understand? I told you I would talk about it after the fight. I'm not talking about it right now. You're not going to get me fucked out of this fight.
I'm not trying to fuck
yeah, you are, because I told you I wasn't going to fucking talk about it, and you keep fucking just bringing up more information. So matter of fact, I'm done with this shit. I'm not doing this shit. Fuck you guys.
Hey,
I'm not doing it.
Hey, we're not trying to get you disqualified.
Yeah, you are. You guys are trying to get me to lose my fight, and I'm not going to.
There is absolutely no way we're trying to get you disqualified.
No. Well.
If anything, those rules are in place to protect the fighter so you don't permanently hurt yourself.
Yeah.
So, I'm doing research on the guy. We all did research on him. The brain aneurysm is something I'm concerned about. I mean, I certainly don't want him to lose his fight. But if it's going to be an issue where he can be truly hurt, it should be something that should be figured. But Vince Anderson saying he was cleared by a neurologist. I mean, and again, that's all he had to say. I don't understand why he was upset about it. If I had some,
one of those things, like, it doesn't just lie with him. Like, if something were to happen to him and it was fatal, like, what's that going to do to his opponent? That's going to mess with him forever. Like, there's other people involved in this that it's selfish to be risky like that.
Well, completely my fault. And again, like we talked about this in previous episodes. I'm a big advocate for the Muhammad Ali Act. I think like Gabe and his entire generation, they put the sport on their fucking back, and they broke their back to put on those Reebok shirts on their back. Like, gotta take care of the fighters. I'm a big advocate for. I'm very fucking pro fighter. So it completely my fault. I apologize to everybody. It's absolutely fucking my fault. I'll take the heat for it. I don't think it was a bad thing, David. I was just reading an article yesterday about Spencer Fisher, who's dealing with massive CTE and all these different issues from fighting, and that he did not have a pre-existing issue. And it hurts me to know that there are fighters that are dealing with this. I know of at least 3 fighters that I knew early in the career, and the way that they talk now is drastically different. And when I'm around them, I feel for them. If he has a pre-existing issue, I don't understand why even bringing it up. It was not in any means to try to get him out of his fight. I hope if he's clear by a neurologist, let him fight. I mean, he was fighting in the jungles, underground fights in Thailand. It shouldn't be an issue, if he's cleared by a neurologist for an actual organization. Right. I don't know.
Well, that went sideways.
That escalated quickly, guys.
I
mean,
I know I'm fairly new, but I've never seen somebody just walk out.
What the deal is. So.
Well, I mean, look.
Yeah,
you're dealing with
like, if it's not that big of a deal, then why are you acting like this?
We're dealing with a star, ladies and gentlemen. We're dealing with a true star, and he was doing things on his terms. Look, let's be honest here. Let's be honest here. He talked his way into a fight. He said they haven't even seen him throw a punch, and he's fighting a guy who's 2-0. He had fights which are thrown away, documented in Thailand. I will say this: maybe Brandon is going to go in there and knock this guy out, but I have met many, many, many people like him, and my bullshit meter was at about red level.
I can see it from his side.
At every aspect.
I can see it from his side of the coin too. Like my last 2 amateur fights, I completely did not tell anybody I had a neck injury. Like, especially when I was slipping punches and everything like that, it hurt. My neck was sore every single training session. I complained about my neck. I'd have to leave the ring. I had to work it out with that fucking stupid roller and everything like that. Did not tell anybody I had a pre-existing injury. 1, because I didn't want to get disqualified, and 2, I didn't want to make that bullshit excuse. Well, I lost because I had a neck injury, or I won and I still had a neck injury. I can see it from his point of view, from that aspect, but also I can also see it from Gabe's point of view, and being, if he gets hurt, I'm gonna feel fucking terrible. Everybody's gonna feel fucking terrible. And like from Gabe, you know, his concerns are valid considering he helped that generation, that entire generation helped build this fucking sport. And a lot of his brothers and sisters are still suffering to this day. We brought in a lot of fighters here that are banged up, bruised. Don Fry had how many fucking injuries throughout his entire career? So I see it from Brandon's point of view, and I also see it from Gabe's point of view.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
But a pre-existing issue is a pre-existing issue, right? So when being banged up in the fight game is part of being banged up, and we can have a long discussion about that. But if you have a pre-existing issue, then and again, if he was cleared by a neurologist and everything's fine, everything's fine. I'm just going off of an interview I read.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely a pending concern. You know, if a doctor clears him, absolutely, and he's good to go, he's good to go. Like, there should be no debate. No one should kill someone's dream. Nobody should fucking, you know, obviously he's been training. Obviously he's been working with guys like King Mo and everything like that. No one should fucking, you know, take away his dream and everything, especially if he's good to go. If he says he's good to go, he's not having any problems whatsoever, and, you know, doctors clear him, no one should have a fucking problem. You know, he's going to go in there, either win or lose, you know, and yeah, but at the same token, too, nobody wants to see a fighter hurt. No one wants to see one of our fellow fighters go in the ring and get hurt, you know, and I absolutely see it from both sides of the spectrum. But
I apologize to Brandon for being that upset about it. It was, in my opinion, it's a valid question. You know?
Well, this affects everybody. If something like that happens in the sport, it affects everybody.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, I like Brandon's coach. Me and Mo
trying to get back on. I'm happy to bring him back on. This was not a hit piece. You know, I know you guys had questions about his fight record, but you know, upon doing your research, you guys found this other thing. So you know, you guys just wanted to talk about it and see what it was. You know.
Yeah. Hey, we're going to be down there. Me and Matt, we're going to be covering, we're going to be interviewing everybody, you know, like, it definitely wasn't a fucking hit piece whatsoever, you know, like, and it's my fault. I'll completely take the blame. You know, it's my fault.
Way to go, Dave. Definitely. Way to go, Dave. God,
way to go.
You can't take this guy anywhere. You can't take this guy anywhere. I would have never brought that up. I would have had no interest in bringing that up. But Dave's like, oh, I'm going to jump on this piece.
I fucking ruined everything. Seriously.
Hey, the best interviewers make the person cry, so.
Not necessarily. I mean.
well, listen. You need to in the fight game. You need to have a thick skin, and
we get it. Fighters have pride. I get it.
It's a minor little thing, but the thing is, it's out there. It's not like it was a hidden thing, like his
it's on YouTube
tapes from Thailand. It's on the internet.
We didn't get your IRS files.
It came up. I think it was the third thing that came up when I looked up his name on YouTube.
But also Gabe, how many times have you, especially back in the heyday, how many times did you have to go through that interviewing process and say, yeah, I'm in the best fucking shape of my life, even though you had like 20 million fucking injuries? Like, how many times did you have to go through that interviewing process, every single interviewer, and just to hype up and build up this fight and hide your weaknesses and completely like poker face your injuries and say, yeah, I'm in the best fucking shape of my life, ready to win this fight, put on the best performance?
Like getting your fight camp ready, you get sore, you like bang up your shin or something. You're trying not to like limp when you're getting in the cage so your opponent doesn't see.
Exactly.
Injuries and going into a fight. I don't think I ever went into a fight 100%. I remember 2 fights in particular where I had massive injuries before them, and obviously I'm going to hide them. But it's much, much different than a pre-existing issue. Like
it's a brain injury.
A brain injury is a very, very different animal. Like my hurting my ribs or having my knee a little wonky is very, very different than a brain injury. Where if I get punched, expressly from looking into the information that was out there, I didn't think it was a bad question, David. I obviously am giving you shit for it. I thought it was a justified question, and he obviously got heated about it. And we're not that commission. Like, how would he say that we're going to get him cut from the cup fight? Like,
Yeah.
It's not.
It's a
Well,
commission.
the thing is, too, I listen to a lot of serial killer podcasts. Like 95% of them, brain injury. All of them have in their history. Like, that's something to be concerned about for somebody.
You know, and I you know, what's a really good documentary that I actually watched, and I think MMA is kind of like a you know, it just got back from the dead, you know, not too long ago. And 2000, when did Zuffa buy the UFC? Like back in 2001, 2002. Like, you know, it's relatively this whole sanctioning rules and everything like that. We don't know like the long term. Like, yeah. I'm a big advocate of protecting the brain. You know, you see O.J. Simpson. I blame everything that he fucking did on brain injuries. I blame everything. Chris Benoit.
But whatever.
For wrestling, killed his entire fucking family.
Yeah.
Like, I completely blame it on brain injuries. Like, and that was what popped up because, you know, you gotta protect your moneymaker. Like right here, you gotta protect your fucking brain. Gotta protect that. And you know that I'm pro fucking fighter till I die. You know, it doesn't matter who steps in there. And like. And a part of his comeback story, and that's when he started talking and saying how he was able to overcome all this shit. That's why, you know, it was a nice lead in to like bring up the research that I did, because, you know, it's very easy to research Gabe and research Chris Lieben and all these, like, you know, that generation that built the sport. But with the new fighters, we have to do some digging. We have to make sure we know what we're talking about when we have them on here. So I thought that was a nice, you know, part of his comeback story. You know what I'm saying?
Is there any way of getting him back on, or has that horse already rode out?
I don't know, but his manager said he'd come on, but he needs a few minutes. So
yeah. Vince Anderson come on.
Well, the thing is, they didn't have as many regulations back then. So yeah, there was guys I knew that when they started, they were champs, and now they are so slow. The way that you can see it in the way they talk, and just they didn't take care of the fighters back then. Refs wanted bloody fights; they just let them go. Dude, like guys are unconscious, still get hit. Like there was no rules, and so these guys are the aftermath of having to go through some of that.
There are people that would fight 3 times in a weekend.
Yeah, 3 times. I've seen a guy fight 3 times on one card.
Yeah,
It's
that's why you have you're going to have health issues for life.
Yeah, just for a little bit of fame, like small town fame.
I think meeting Chuck Liddell was a perfect indicator of that, because he fought IBC in Brazil. He fought Vale Tudo, and he fought against like Jose Pele in a bloody fucking battle, and fought all these fucking wars. People got just a tip of what Chuck Liddell, his career, because you see like in the heyday when he fought in fucking Brazil, Vale Tudo rules. I mean, he fought fucking wars after wars after wars, and like meeting him in 2013, like I didn't even want a picture with him. I shook his hand and I said thank you, but like, you know, he spoke to a lot of people. He did a Q&A, but like, you know, there was not that same pep in his step, because that generation went through Gabe's generation, Chuck Liddell's generation. That generation went through fucking wars and were fighting wars. Go on YouTube, search these fucking fights. They're masterpieces. Every single one of them. They fought through fucking wars when nobody was watching. And then now you know, they pretty much die on the cross so the sport can have sponsors, have money invest in the sport, and have rules, and have sanctioning bodies, and be protected. You know, that's Gabe's generation in a nutshell. That's why I like talking to him. That's why I asked for an Ask Gabe episode, because he has a lot of shit to talk about. You know, that entire generation. To Ali's point.
I mean, they're the pioneers, but they're also the guinea pigs, is what sucks.
Yeah, unfortunately, I walked out with my mental facilities for the most part. I'm just as dumb as the day I walked in as I walked out.
Crazy. And that's
you can even see it on some fighters. It changed how their face formed.
I'm sorry, say that again.
And so you can see on some of the fighters as they got older, it changed how their face formed. Like they just, because someone would do it every weekend, just all the fucking time, back to back. Didn't care. They didn't train. They just did fights.
That was a direct jab at me, wasn't it? Yes, this is not my original.
We gotta pass the buck somewhere. We're just bullies. Matt's next.
Guy Jeremiah was talking on here, and he said he was perplexed that someone with no experience, no amateur experience, is fighting in a bare knuckle. And I thought that was a genuinely good question, or not even a question, it was more of a statement. But he said he has 47 fights, nothing documented at all. I am that's a little suspect to me. I'm not going to lie, because I've heard many people. I can't even think of in my 21 years of being in the MMA game. There's always been those guys that are either underground fighters or street fighters, and every single time they turn out to not be remotely close to what they say they are.
Yeah, but also too, like on the AMI level, to find a fight like his size, my size, like smoker fights, go into a gym and they match you up, like grappling competitions, everything like that. Like especially back in like 06, 07, 08, if he's talking about that time frame, like there weren't really that many amateur like fight leagues out there. I mean, like you had Oregon, they had Rumble on the Rock, not Rumble on the Rock, Rumble at the Roseland. They had I forget what the promotion's called in Portland, Oregon.
The funny thing is the amateur fighting I used to do a decade ago is called Rumble on the Rock.
Really?
Yeah, it was a Steamboat Rock. That's why they called it that.
Yeah, but there was.
That's why you said that. I was like, dude.
But there was the big amateur promotion, because you had Jeff Mayer, who ran out of Tough Enough. He ran out of Las Vegas. So you had Jeff Mayer's promotion. And then you had a promotion in Oregon, Portland, Oregon. It was a Rumble at the Roseland. Team Quest was heavily involved in that promotion. But besides that, there weren't a lot of amateur fight leagues out there. You had a silent fight league. You had a couple here and there. And then you had smoker fights. The only way you can get a fight was smoker fights, because there were not a lot
of them were at bars or like abandoned schools.
Yeah, I mean, you had those schools, definitely. You had high schools that would host it.
Or like biker events would sometimes host the fight.
Yeah, but they all had like modified rules, like you can't do open, like you got to do open palm strikes, and like they had those weird rules.
Oh, is that pancreas or whatever they do like this?
Pancreas type rules, and also the shin guards as well. A lot of those high schools in like 2002, 2001, like it's muffled.
I know in Iowa, before they did regulations, elbows were legal.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
No fucking way.
And you could knee, like as long as you were half down too, you could still hit a down opponent as long as you weren't standing and doing it.
God damn. And we have Vince.
You couldn't kick him in the head. You couldn't kick him in the head. You couldn't hit him in the back of the head.
That is some fucking crazy shit, though.
Iowa had very minimal rules.
Yeah, crazy to me. I don't know how that would get sanctioned. Probably no idea, but.
I didn't know until it was like 2-3 years ago. I started training to come back, and I was training my brothers, and we walked up, and I went to knee him in the head. And he's like, "No, you can't do that." I was like, "We can't knee in the head anymore," and he was like, "No."
Fucking crazy. Back in the day, like rules were fucking minimum. They were unsanctioned. Smoker fights.
Oh, yeah,
like
you just couldn't go like this. As long as you slid it, it was fine.
Do you know why they banned that? Because a bunch of fucking people saw karate movies and are like, oh, 12 to 6 elbows, fucking deadly, bro. Even though going like this fucking hurts like a motherfucker. Like, never banned 12 to 6 elbows. Fucking mind-blowing to me. Seriously.
Well, some people were just going to have it. They just start moving their heads, so, like, you would accidentally hit them in the back of the head and they could start over.
Yeah, but, like, holding someone's neck down and just coming down like this hurts a lot fucking more than a 12 to 6 elbow. I don't know. I'll bring it to the pro, Gabe, but. What's up, man?
What's up, guys?
How you doing?
Situated?
Man,
Vince,
y'all know how to piss somebody off, huh?
I guess.
I am so sorry, man. I am so sorry. It is all my fault. I will completely take the heat for these guys. I am so sorry.
Dude, it's all right. It's all right. Yeah, it's a touchy subject, man. We we had to jump through hoops to get him cleared for this fight because some things that were said were somewhat of an issue for the promotion. So he plus he's cutting weight right now. He's dieting super hard, fast.
He's hungry.
So, everybody's grumpy when they're fighting like that, So
right.
Yeah.
you know, it's always a concern. We talk about fighters. We're advocates for fighters. So, you know, no harm done. We did not mean to, you know, it was a part of his comeback story. You know, he was talking about his comeback story. So we thought it was a big part of it. You know, I threw that line out there. So completely my fault. I apologize about that. Especially as his manager and talking to his manager. And GOAT Management does a great job. Sponsors of the show, we love them. We're going to be interviewing a lot of their fighters, so can't wait to fucking talk to you, talk to GOAT Management. But you know,
this whole his issue, it's known, right? I mean, he put it out there on YouTube, so we assume this was something that everybody knows about.
Yeah, you know, and if this was on, you know, any other show, you know, maybe there's some doubt there, but I know you guys really well, and I know like you weren't trying to trap him or sabotage him or whatever. So, you know, it is what it is. You know, that's kind of the job of the media, to ask the tough questions.
Well, I mean, we're concerned about him as a fighter too.
He did say he didn't want to talk about it a couple times, and it came back up again, which is, you know, fair, I guess. So, you know, it is what it is. We'll see on February the 5th. We'll see what happens. You know, he's getting a shot.
Tough fight though, and especially as a manager and working management. Like, what's your perspective on the fight? Your fighter matched up against a very game opponent, 2-0. You know, that's no joke. Coming from a manager's perspective, like, what's your feelings on that fight and your client's chances and how he's going to do in there?
Well, Brandon's got some of the best in the world training with him. You know, he went down to Puerto Rico and spent some time with Elvin Brito. He's good friends with King Mo. He's training with King Mo right now. Brock Weaver is training.
Hold on a second. I'm sitting here and my computer goes off, and your boy is calling me a real piece of shit. Why don't you come to bare knuckle fighting, or are you gonna quit during your weight cut, you fucking pussy?
You know, I don't know what to say about that, man. That's his words.
Yeah, no, I just that is his response to someone else asking the question and me asking a little bit more in depth on it. He got the fight from talking shit. That's fine. That's good and all. But come on, man. Just ridiculous.
Brandon, you know, everyone knows he's not shy to, you know, a little shit and stir the pot a little bit. So,
yeah.
You know.
Fair enough.
I don't know,
a little crazy. But so 2 points, Ali. So 2 points, Ali. You picked the wrong Thursday to come on the show. And number 2, Vince, I'm looking forward to seeing you in Florida. I'm looking forward to interviewing you and your players and everything like that. Like, what's your opinions on the entire card? Like, what's your opinions on? Yeah, we're having a little bit of trouble hearing you, brother.
And he's gone.
Wait, he messaged you?
Or was that Facebook post?
Yeah, he put a post on Facebook, and I'm on my computer, and it popped up at Brandon Lambert tagged you, yeah.
Fuck, man. We did not mean for that to go. Like, I don't know, man. We did not mean for that to go there. And
okay, so first off, his first reaction is to talk shit, right? This weak little man that has never really fought. Let's be honest. He's never fought. He's making up. He's a liar, and he lied his way into getting a fight. And now he's going to talk poorly about me. Fuck that little lop.
Vince, we're having a little bit of trouble with your connection, brother.
That's like, I don't know how many times I've heard from an AME or any fighter, I'm undefeated. I've had 80 fights. It's always so fun. But and then when you ask like, oh, hey, I Googled you and I can't find you. Oh, they were all just small events. They didn't record keep them. I was like, I fought for small events. I exist on Google.
Can you hear us, man?
Even back then.
I will put my worst fighter in the gym against this kid. The worst fighter that I have, the worst amateur that I have, will beat the living brakes off of that little shitbag.
Well, just the whole, like, my kids are my girlfriend took my kids for no reason, the victim card, like the typical guy tool bag thing.
Gabe, can we plug your gym and where we can find you and sign up for memberships?
Brandon Lambert, Kaiju MMA and Fitness. Come in anytime, young man. Anytime. 36. You're fighting for your first bare knuckle fight after your massive career in Thailand, you fucking lying piece of shit.
Like, how do you get on there when you can't prove you have a record?
You talk.
Like, all the evidence is destroyed. Even the videos he did have, some other chick took them and destroyed them, and that's into them. They don't exist.
Well, also Toe the Line actually got canceled. So yeah, so Toe the Line got canceled, and you know things work out the way it is. And again, going back to what he said, fate. You know, they brought him on. Obviously, he's a very entertaining guy. Obviously, we're still talking about him. So they match him up with the opponent, you know, and you know.
Well,
obviously,
we're from the reality TV generation where they need to have that character on the show. Like, you need that antagonist on there. It helps fuel everything.
Okay. You know what? If you don't have anything to back your stupid mouth,
we still love to see it. That's it.
I'll be on. You know what? Bare knuckle boxing. Please let this shitbag get knocked out. I don't care about the aneurysm. You know what? Scratch that. Nothing. He's perfectly fine. He can handle it. He's good. He's a badass. He's got facial tattoos. How tough? Yeah, he's way too tough for this.
All right. So let's wrap this up like a condom or a Christmas present. Sorry, Allie, there's ladies present. I'm sorry. I apologize. So, like, let's wrap this up. Allie, final words, final thoughts. I leave the floor to you, you bad motherfucker.
Hey, you know, a lot of people probably thought that when me and Karina started doing the women's show on Wednesday, that'd be a bunch of drama and whatever. Like, I get to go on the guys show, and this is what happens the first time. Like, seriously, that's nice. I'm really relieved that none of this happened on the women's show, so you can guys be like, oh, you guys know your estrogen going crazy on there.
We're the fucking worst.
This is great.
You guys are the A show. We're the B show. Officially. Let's just call it like it is. Gabe, final word from. Oh, what did you say?
So is that our cup size? We're the A show.
Oh, you guys are the A show, definitely. Okay. And tune in every Wednesday to watch the A show. Gabe, Mr. Gabe, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, owns his own school, teaching future champions like he was, former WEC champion. We all have trouble cutting weight. One time I shit my pants, you know, during wrestling in high school. Not even joking. I took X-Lax, bad stories. We can talk. I'll make fun of myself on a later show. But Gabe,
I didn't make weight on a TV show 13 years ago. You know, I made weight for every one of my WC lightweight championships. I made weight for my TPF championship. I made weight for the UFC 3 times, no problem. Not an issue whatsoever. I'm not concerned about it. It's been 13 years for me. I think it's funny when people bring that shit up. Whatever. Listen, Brandon Lambert is a lop, and regardless of the injury, I'm calling him out right now as a liar, as a false fighter, and it will be proven in bare knuckle boxing. To his opponent, please hit him hard. Hit him so hard. Thank you.
Right. So I want to wish him the best of luck, and I appreciate him coming on the show. Despite that, you know, again, I don't wish bad things on any fighter, anyone that has the balls to step in the ring. Wish him the best of luck, and everyone that's going to be on that card.
Pray for him. There should be a prayer chain set for him already.
Regardless, I wish him the best of luck. I wish his opponent the best of luck. Everyone that has the balls to step in the ring. Vince Anderson, thank you for trying and attempting to come on the show. You know, things were breaking up and everything like that. Bad reception. Oh, well, we'll talk to him at BKFC. We'll be able to talk to Brandon. We'll be able to talk to all those guys on that fight card. I'm very excited. I'm going to drag my smoke show of a girlfriend down to Florida. We're going to have a mini vacation and enjoy all the fights. And Matt, any final words from the producer, good sir?
Can I want to interject. You know what? I'm just kind of upset. I really hope that Brandon doesn't get hurt. Regardless of what a fucking liar he is. I don't want him to get injured. And you know, if he's able to fight, good for him. And I hope the best, win or lose, and it's most likely going to be a loss.
Fair enough.
I need a drink. I need a drink.
Any last words from Matt, the producer?
No,
Well,
let's have a
I
drink.
mean, Gabe, if it helps, he said his confidence cannot be broken. So even if he does lose, it's not going to shatter him.
Yep.
Right. That's all that matters. So, boys and girls, children of all ages, enjoy Wednesday's show, please, for the love of God. We'll be back next Thursday. From everybody at the Fight Mixer, the bad motherfucker Alley, Mr. Gabe, and Matt signing off. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, peace.
Vaya con Dios.
Perfect.